Hey everybody, welcome into A Glitch in the Matrix. I'm your host, Jessica Jones, the Cryptid Huntress. I'm back, and I'm going to say better than ever, but I'm still a tiny little bit under the weather today, but I'm healing for sure. Okay, if you guys caught my shows on Spaced Out Radio this weekend, I was coughing up a storm. Okay, and so hopefully that doesn't happen again today. All right, I got to get better for this Bigfoot festival this weekend. Okay. Speaking of which, I have a fantastic guest in the studio today. I actually have the city clerk of Molena, Georgia, here in the studio. We're going to be talking about the Elkins Creek Bigfoot. Okay, and now, before I get into all this, I got to let y'all know this is one of the most famous Bigfoot cases out of Georgia. And I cannot believe I have not covered the story before on all the shows that I've done. I started going back and looking through all my old shows, and my goodness, y'all. Hey, Ron, I see you in there. I've been going heavy on the Dogman shows lately. It's time to get back to the roots, y'all. We're going back to Bigfoot today, and it's important that we talk about Bigfoot. It's super important, especially because we got this Bigfoot festival this weekend in Georgia. Okay, well, if you guys would like to support what I'm doing, I do have a Patreon and I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. You guys go check those out if you'd like to support the work I'm doing. Also, I have a website. That's the cryptidhuntress.com, where you can find all of my shows, all the events that I'm going to be speaking at, and access to all of my social media sites and everything. And it's a way to get in touch with me. I don't claim to get back in a timely manner on those. I'm sorry, y'all. I know. Y'all, please don't complain. I can't help it. I'm so busy, but I'm trying. I promise. I'm trying my best to get back to all those messages. Y'all would be shocked if you saw my inbox right now. It's so full. Okay. Well, all right. Enough of that, y'all. Please, like I said, please come see me this weekend. It's at the Molena Bigfoot Festival. We're talking about it today. But first, we're going to discuss the Elkins Creek Bigfoot. All right. So one of the most well-known Bigfoot cases in Georgia is the Elkins Creek Bigfoot from around 1994. It's one of the best cases of Bigfoot foot castings actually ever in the Bigfoot community. For about 2 weeks, I was going to say, it says 2 weeks in the report that I read, but I think it's longer than that. A farmer living on Elkins Creek was experiencing strange noises, missing dogs, missing livestock, and banging on his home late at night. He contacted local law enforcement, who found no culprit. But later, after footprints were found, oh yeah, by the way, the farmer's barn door was ripped off the hinges and like twisted, and I mean it's wild. We're going to get into that in a little bit. A sheriff's deputy investigated and found large bipedal footprints that he casted them. He went and got plaster to cast some footprints with. They're now known as the Elkins Creek Bigfoot cast. The Elkins Creek Bigfoot cast shows what could be a Sasquatch, or could be Sasquatch dermatoglyphics. Okay, those are like dermal ridges. Okay, this is not just like a cast. I mean, you can see like the finger, like we have fingerprints. Those are on the bottom of these casts, or the bottom of the feet. According to Jimmy Chilcutt, okay, and I think he's a fingerprint specialist. Dr. Jeff Meldrum is credited with finding indications of anatomical features that are consistent with those of other apes. Okay, so, and I don't think it's totally an ape, maybe a wood ape, right? Okay, so today in the studio, I have Tina Lee. She's the city clerk of Molena, Georgia, home of the Elkins Creek Bigfoot in Elkins Creek. Okay, so please help me welcome to A Glitch in the Matrix today, Miss Tina Lee. Hey,
Hi.
Tina.
Hi.
Hey. Thank you so much for being here today. It is such a pleasure. Oh my gosh, I had the best time at your festival last year. I was able to be a speaker. I was asked to speak at your festival for Bigfoot, and you guys are well known for having one of the most famous Bigfoot cases in Georgia. Tina,
We do.
yeah, you do. Well, do you know the history behind this a little bit? And is there anything you could tell me about the Bigfoots in your area?
I know a little bit. And as far as the Bigfoot in our area, people say they have their stories, but they don't tend to tell them. So we've tried to give them a place where they can and where it's okay to talk about Bigfoot, where people don't roll their eyes or look at you crosswise. Um, so Pat Aiken was a deputy uh, here in Pike County, and he worked the night shift. The calls that he got for the farmer, he originally says he attributed to just someone who was hearing tree scratching or maybe was just a little bit off. Um, he was not a Bigfoot believer at the time, so was not looking for Bigfoot. He said, and I think you're right about it going on for more than 2 weeks because he talks about it like it went on for months. But when you mentioned the barn door being torn off, that there was no evidence of tools uh, with that. His outdoor dogs went missing. All of the dog food, corn that was stored, all of that went missing. He had an indoor dog named Peanut, and I will tell you more about that in a minute. Just summarizing some of what he says happened. One thing of note: there was a dent made into the outside of the house when it sounded like something had hit it while the couple inside was hiding, trying not to be seen because they said things, whatever it was, would go around and look in the windows of the house. So, and would follow them from room to room, although it was outside. But the dent in the house, he said, looked like if you had punched a wall with your fist, only it was huge, at least 10 inches across the knuckles. So he was getting ready to change jobs. He was going to no longer be a Pike County deputy. So he made arrangements with the gentleman to come after work and just walk the property. And that's how they stumbled across the footprints. And I don't know if I'm supposed to tell or not, but I'm going to go ahead and tell. He has donated. So the original footprint broke in two, but there were other castings made of the original footprint. And the there's one at the museum up in North Georgia. There you go. But the first cast made of the cast, so the second actual casting that still has the good view of the ridges and everything else, is being donated to Molena.
Oh, that's so cool. How nice. I think I've seen one of the castings at the Expedition Bigfoot up in Cherry Log, Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great Bigfoot museum, y'all. If y'all haven't been there yet, I highly recommend going to everybody watching today. Wow. So you mentioned the first cast got broken, and I think that was in transport, potentially to Dr. Meldrum, I think, from what I read, and it broke, which is a shame. But these are great prints, and now I want to show the audience, give some statistics on this print, because I'm a Bigfoot field researcher, and so I like to get to the meat and potatoes of stuff. And this is legitimate. This is one of the best prints I've ever seen, or one of the best castings. Now I'm going to try to share my screen today. I don't usually do this because all hell breaks loose when I try to get too technologically advanced over here. But I'm going to try to share my screen, and we're going to go look at this website real quick. Let's see, share screen. Okay. Oh, here we go. Elkins, here we go. Okay. I need 1 second. And let's see if this works. Okay. It says it's sharing, but it's not. Is this sharing? Y'all see it? I don't see it. Oh, here we go. It just takes a minute. It's very slow. Okay, so this is from the bigfootencounters.com for everybody watching at home today and everybody listening. Well, I guess if you're listening, you can't see it. So if you're on the podcast platform, y'all go to YouTube and go check out this video from today. So this is from bigfootencounters.com. This is the dermal ridge examination report by Dr. Jeff Meldrum from J.H. Chilcutt, who is a fingerprint examiner. Okay, so, and it says on here, this is the actual report with the pictures. It says on November 15th, 1999, I received from Dr. Jeff Meldrum a plaster cast footprint. The cast was made by Deputy James P. Aiken of the Pike County Sheriff's Office in Pike County, Georgia. That's where you are, Tina. In 1997, from an impression found in the Elkins Creek floodplain. You guys, the cast was 17.5 inches long and 8.5 inches wide. That is huge. That's a wide foot. Now we've got the picture of the Elkins Creek casting area. Now we have area A and B and C here. Okay. It says the Elkins Creek casting was examined over a period of several months, and I observed several areas in the cast where primate dermal ridges appeared. Okay, so y'all, for everyone watching today, these are actual the indentations in the skin. Okay, just like fingerprints. And this is a fingerprint specialist that went and looked at all of these. Here in the foot, it says an area A is located at the first joint of the fourth toe where the toe meets the foot. Note the ridge detail shown. This area has several of the characteristics found in the human ridge pattern. So they said primate, and now they're kind of saying, well, this is similar to human patterns. Okay. And in an area B located at the first joint of the second toe and the dermal ridges of both areas, sweat pores can be seen with a magnifying glass. Okay, so isn't that yummy? I hope y'all aren't eating lunch today. Okay. Area C is located on the right side. Notice the ridges run lengthwise along the side of the foot. The longitudinal flow of the ridges is not found in the human or known non-human primate. The ridge flow is consistent with the ridge flow of the 1967 Blue Creek Mountain Road casting and the 1984 Walla Walla Table Spring casting. So he's actually comparing these to two other well-known Bigfoot, suspected Bigfoot castings. Okay, Bigfoot prints. It says area D, located at the center of the foot, shows lateral ridges of the animal ridges that believed were applied accidentally by the person making the cast. After a considerable amount of time studying the four areas, I have come to the conclusion that the dermal ridges are definitely the ridges of a non-human primate. This conclusion is based on the fact that humans have creases running perpendicular to the lateral ridges of the first joint of the toes where the toe meets the foot. No such creases were observed. This does not occur in human or the known non-human primate. This ridge flow is also consistent with the other two castings. Okay, so I find this absolutely fascinating, right? Let me go ahead and stop sharing this. Make sure. Oh, there we go. It worked and it didn't explode. I'm so happy. Okay, so this is an expert looking at fingerprints. I mean, it sounds to me like this is a bona fide Bigfoot track. Okay, definitely a Bigfoot track. So that's very special. And the gentleman who made this cast was a sheriff's deputy, or he was with law enforcement. Uh-oh, we lost Tina, y'all. Let's see. We'll get her back. Okay, the deputy who took these is, hold on, James Aiken. Okay, here she is. Hold on, let's pull up Tina. Hey, Tina.
Sorry about that.
Tina is at work, y'all. She's at work. So the deputy who took this is James Aiken, who actually wrote a book. So if anybody's interested in this book that he wrote, and this is all about what he experienced, it's called Elkins Creek, James P. Aiken. So you guys go check that out if you'd like to look more into his story. But But I have actually watched interviews. I've listened to podcasts that he's been on. He actually did some podcasts a couple of years ago. A matter of fact, I actually typed it in. The Extended Perspective podcast, y'all. I don't know those guys, but this is one of the podcasts he was on when he told a story. So y'all go check that out if you'd like to hear him firsthand on a podcast. But he has a very interesting perspective on it, Tina. And he actually at first in his interviews he was saying that he was convinced that these were people like moonshiners that were messing with the farmer and his wife, or potential marijuana growers, or people that were trying to run them off their property. He never in a million years suspected a Bigfoot. I mean, I don't guess there had been a whole lot of Bigfoot sightings or reports before this happened out there, had there?
Not that I know of. We do have reports since then, but not up till then. I think people just kept them to themselves, though.
That's what he was saying on his interview, that other deputies, other law enforcement officers, they had known about it for a long time. They had seen these prints around the area for a while, but they just never talked about it. And I think that's the case with a lot of not only law enforcement, but just normal people, because you don't want people to think you're crazy, right?
Right.
I think that's why people keep it quiet for the most part. But thank goodness people in your area have talked about it. Now, do you guys still get reports of Bigfoot sightings over in Molena and around the Elkins Creek area?
Weighing my words, we do. Some here, some Concord, some towards Woodbury, and of course, going farther out, Greenville has a lot of supposed reports, none confirmed that I know of, but supposed reports right now.
Oh, how cool. Okay, well, since you're here and we're talking about Bigfoot, I have some maps to pull up of Bigfoot sightings in your area. Okay, not just your area. I think it's actually, yeah, it's actually the whole United States. We've got a map. I'm going to pull this up. I'm sure my audience is familiar with these maps, like the Bigfoot Mapping Project. This is one that just kind of shows you in the red where the reportings are and some of the sightings. These are the reports. Now, you see Georgia down there on the bottom right-hand corner, okay? And there's a big, heavy red area that goes down kind of the Appalachians through the Atlanta area, kind of down towards the troop herd corridor, okay? And that's these are all the areas that my team researches. And it pretty much bleeds, I'm going to say bleeds right down into Pike County. Now, this map right here is the number of reported Bigfoot sightings by state. And Georgia is down there in the bottom right-hand corner. We have, let's see, what does that say? 100. It says 132. I have to guarantee y'all there's way more than that. Okay. But I mean, I don't report my sightings to anybody, because I'm on 3 different research teams. Okay, but we have the most sightings. If you look at the the map down here at the bottom, the most sightings, Georgia's one of the states with the most sightings, Tina. That's a lot of sightings. Okay, I think we rank 10th in the US for Bigfoot sightings. Okay, and so Molena, Pike County, gets the award for the best Bigfoot cast. Okay, and out of one of the states with the most Bigfoot sightings. So that's quite an honor for your county, or for your county and your city. And you guys take it pretty well, because when I was down in Molena last year, the whole city was all Bigfoot everything. Okay, you guys have Bigfoot painted on is it City Hall, maybe? Yes. Or some of your buildings? Tell me about that.
We have Bigfoot on our window here at City Hall, and we have a Bigfoot mural on our city shop. And people love to stop, just take pictures of that, or run over to the shop and have their picture taken with where it looks like they're holding hands. Yep, there's my window.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I had my picture made with looking like I was holding hands of Bigfoot down there, and on the wall of one of your buildings. So that's pretty impressive. And plus, you have all your shops. I mean, you guys have really embraced Sasquatch down there, the Bigfoot phenomenon. And I think that is so cool because a lot of places you didn't see this 10 years ago in any city hall or any kind of little town. And it always shocks me going places like Chiahaw, Alabama. Chiahaw State Park, they have Bigfoots in their office there. When you go to check in, if you go hiking or access the state park, you can buy Bigfoot stuff there, like magnets and plushies and hats and shirts. Now you guys kind of do the same, right?
We do.
Yeah, some of your shops actually. Now you're going to have vendors at your Bigfoot festival this week, which I think is amazing. And I have. Oh, let me pull up your Facebook page for people who are watching today. Oh wait, let me share this. I got to figure out how to do this again. Let's share the screen. Okay, and I'm going to pull up the Facebook page so people in our audience can go and go join it. If you're in the Georgia area and you guys want to come out to the festival this weekend, everybody in your town pretty much has embraced this. I think I saw your Bigfoot taking pictures with people at salons and the offices. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's our mural where people
there's the mural.
Can hold hands with Bigfoot.
Oh yeah. Now, and here's Miss Angie. Okay, there's Angie right here that made a post. She's one of the co-organizers of this as well, right? And and some of the speakers, we got Melissa Adair. These are a lot of Georgia speakers that are going to be there. There's my show. There's our show right now. We're live. Hey. And but you have local shops that have really embraced the Bigfoot phenomenon. And you know, I mean, why not? You know, this is it kind of makes you guys a hot spot for people who are Bigfoot enthusiasts to come down there, right?
It does. We had someone from Florida who was supposed to be taking a break from Bigfoot. He and his wife were on vacation, and I'm not going to say who it was, but he and his wife were on vacation, and she said no Bigfoot, and he had to stop. Couldn't help himself.
Well, I'm actually planning on potentially buying some Christmas gifts, okay, when I'm down there this weekend at your event. So let's see, let me get back on here. Yes, I'm going to buy some Christmas gifts. I love Bigfoot stuff, and my son's coming too. So we're going to be there at Meldrum, Tina. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're really looking forward to you being here again. It's exciting. You're responsible for part of, or at least partly responsible for the festival being such a success last year. People who follow you were here, and it was exciting.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about your famous Bigfoot, because I do have some more information too, okay? And then at the end we're going to talk some more about the festival. You can tell people how to get there and all the information, okay? So let's kind of get into this real quick. This is the area that I think Elkins Creek is on here. This is the map that I found for Cliff Barackman, y'all. Y'all know Cliff Barackman. He's with on that show Finding Bigfoot. Let's see. I'm going to actually, how about I do this? I'm going to share my screen again. I'm having too much fun today. We're going to share the screen. Okay. We're going to pull up Cliff's website today because he's got this report on here. This is the one that I originally found. Elkins Creek. I think this is it. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, well, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to cancel that because I did not pull his website up. I thought I had it on here. Okay, so Cliff has a great website. I've got the information right here. Okay, so I want to talk about exactly what this Bigfoot did down here. Okay, so the Peanut. Okay, did you mention that Peanut's name got whispered? Okay, have you ever heard of Bigfoot's talking before, Tina? Okay, because they do this thing called samurai chatter, and occasionally you'll hear them calling out a person's name, like a human's name. And I believe this happened with the farmer and his wife. Can you tell me about that?
So one of the times that the gentleman called in, of course he was calling in about nightly, but one of the times he called in, he said that he told Pat Aiken that creature or whatever it was calling his dog. And now the dog wasn't out at night. The dog would go out in the daytime. So obviously, whatever it was, we think Bigfoot, was nearby, because he and his wife would let the dog out during the day to go take care of business. And then they would call, Peanut, Peanut. Well, he said that something, he did not know what at the time, but he said something was outside his door calling. And I'm going to try to do it the way Pat did it. Peanut. But I'm not real good at that. Sorry, but it was very guttural, low, and it was calling his dog. And he said it was very clearly his dog's name.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, especially for an elderly couple that's living out in the woods, basically miles from civilization, from neighbors, and being harassed. Not only, now they had not been hurt, okay, but their dogs had gone missing. They suspected that these Bigfoots were taking their dogs, and the poor gentleman, he said, and he was fully, I'm sure he was well equipped to take care of himself and his wife, if you know what I mean. But that had to have been pretty scary, having their house banged on at night, late at night, their house dented in with the vinyl siding, their dogs going missing, their livestock going missing. That's something that's very typical of Bigfoot behavior, Tina. I just did an investigation up in Tennessee a few months ago, and there was a cave on the property, and the lady and her husband who lived on this property, their chickens were being taken out of their chicken pen and just going missing. And there was no blood, there were no body parts to the chickens, but there were feathers left behind, and they all went into the cave. And so we wondered, the assumption is, well, the Bigfoots, there were footprints that indicated Sasquatch activity. They were a little bigger than feral human prints. There could be humans. You can't discount that. It's all part of the research. We have to look into every angle. But these chickens were getting taken, and these are her babies. But we kind of were thinking, well, are they eating the chickens, or were they taking them as pets?
Never thought of that.
Yeah. Well, you want to think the best, right? You want to think the best case scenario for your pets. But they could have been taken. Now, also, when the farmer's door was broken off the hinges, the barn door was ripped off, and it was ripped in a way that was pretty violent, I think. And it took a lot of force for a human. I don't think a human could have done that, could they?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's kind of typical for Bigfoots as well. And they went in and they took they got the dog food. According to what James Aiken was saying on that interview that I heard, he said that they took all like 40, 50 pounds of dog food and corn, polished corn, I think is what he called it. And they didn't steal it, but they got into it. So look, they had been eating it. So makes you wonder, if anybody wonders what Bigfoots eat, y'all, they must eat dog food. Just leave some dog food out.
And corn.
And corn. Right. Or they may have had their own pets and they needed to go get some dog food, okay, for their own dogs. It could be. Honestly, we really don't know. I mean, if I was a Bigfoot, I wouldn't mind having a pet too, a pet human. Just kidding.
There you go.
No, it's terrible.
I'm not volunteering.
No, me neither. I don't want to be a pet to a Bigfoot at all. But I'd be their friend. Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay, so the gentleman also, which I found very interesting, James Aiken, when he went back, and now he's the one that's responsible for these casts, y'all. So that's why I'm bringing him up so much today, if the audience is wondering. He is the one that took the casting, and was law enforcement. And I know you guys in Molena have the nicest law enforcement officials. I was there last year, and they were so nice. And I know they work hard. And I'm just wondering, what did they know about these Bigfoot tracks?
Well, in '94, we didn't have the police department that we do now, so it was served by we were served by the county, especially at night.
Okay.
And so there was no really thought about it one way or the other, because this all went to the county. So it was what the county's thoughts were on it. And I don't know anyone who would have given credence to Bigfoot being in the area without the proof that Mr. Aiken, or Deputy Aiken at the time, provided.
Yeah. Wow. Just for him to have the wherewithal to go to the hardware store or the art supply, wherever he went, he probably went to Ace Hardware or something and got some plaster, you know, something to cast. Or maybe the local Walmart. I don't know what else. Y'all even I have a Walmart out there, right?
We have
back
one in
then,
Thomaston and Griffin.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you guys are out pretty, I don't want to say isolated, but you're pretty far out there. And it's not a metropolis. It's not a huge city. It's beautiful. Let's see. Let me pull up a picture of Molena for everybody to see here. And it's a beautiful town, but it's not like a big gigantic shopping center right there downtown, you know, where it would have been easy to go get plaster to make these casts, which is impressive because he does have some of the best casts in history. Okay, now Dennis Carroll. Hey, Dennis is in the chat today. He said, "Do you think this is a typical skunk ape?" I do believe it's something similar, but the way this Bigfoot is actually described, Dennis, is that it looks like a Neanderthal man. Okay, like a caveman. You know, sorry, Tina's at work. Okay, so she's answering phones too. It's okay. It's okay. Totally. Listen, I am just happy that you took the time to talk to us today on the show. But he did describe it. It didn't so much look like your typical like Bigfoot, like a patty type Bigfoot. Okay, and I do have pictures of the different types of Bigfoot. I'd say this was a type 4 Sasquatch. Okay, Dennis. And by type 4, let me take this down. By a type 4, it's the one at the very top. Okay, type A. If you guys can see that. The type A, type 4, that is like the wild man type of Bigfoot. The wild man / more human looking type of Bigfoot would be how they describe this Bigfoot looking. Okay, and if you guys want to go back and watch some of my old shows, I did a show on the legend of Paul Bunyan. Okay, man, myth, or Sasquatch, and I did look into that. I do believe it was more like a wild man type. So it does sound sort of like a wild man. Yeah, and Tina, there have been wild man reports all over the South for many years. Yeah, do you know of any other wild man reports down in your area?
Not that I could name specifically. Yes, I've heard of others, but I don't know of any specific wild man reports that I can name off.
Okay. Well, I can think of one, but it's down in Florida. And y'all are good ways from Florida, but there is the Ocheesee Pond wild man. It was a very famous case of wild men down in Florida. And he was actually found in a swamp down there and taken to a hospital up in Chattahoochee, Florida, where he lived until the end of his days, I believe. So common to hear. And also, I think Barb, who is one of the she helps you guys out down there. Yeah, Barb has I've had a conversation with her about the giants. There are reported giants down in the Okefenokee swamp, not too far from y'all. Some say Bigfoots. Okay, but it's called the Okefenokee Attack of the Giants of 1829. Okay, 1829. I know that was a long time ago, but that's in the historical records. That was actually in the newspapers down there. And back in the 1800s, Tina, I think they told the truth a little more in these newspapers than they do these days.
They didn't know how to embellish as much.
Yes, they didn't cover it up. There wasn't an active cover up going on down there. But thank you for that question, Dennis. I do believe it is a type 4 Sasquatch, in my opinion. Okay, and according to the reports that I read. But here's something that I found super interesting, y'all. So James Aiken, after he had made these casts and everything, he had gone back to look for more. He went to go back and look for more tracks. Well, he's obviously a tracker, like an animal tracker and a human tracker. Working in law enforcement, you got to know tracking. And so he was talking about in this interview how he had gone in circular patterns, looking for tracks. And he was following these track lines of this reported Sasquatch. And he said that what really threw him off was that they disappeared into thin air. Okay. I've been doing tracking for a long time. I'm a field researcher. I'm out there looking for prints too. And in this area, by the way, Tina, my team goes down there. We met Angie about 2 weeks ago out at the troop herd corridor. And she came down and hung out with us. Oh yeah, we had a lot of Bigfoot activity down there, which I will show the audience today. Excuse me. So, but he made it a point to mention that he was perplexed as to how the tracks disappeared, giving it a paranormal, supernatural aspect. Okay. And so he had thought that these, whatever it was, could just be a flesh and bone type of Bigfoot. And Tina, there are 2 camps when it comes to Bigfoot. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but people either think that they are flesh and bone only. Or there's 3. Okay. What's the third one? Okay. So we got flesh and bone. And then we have like the woo camp, they say, and that's like the supernatural aspect. To where they might be interdimensional. What do you think? What's your opinion?
And then the aliens.
Oh, and then the aliens.
No,
well, that would be
I
supernatural.
flesh and bone, but the aliens, yeah. Okay, well, I did the spirit creature, and I always look at the spirit creature and then the alien as being 2 separate camps. I could be wrong on that, though. I'm not a researcher.
We'll take it.
Just curious.
We'll take it. I love it. Okay, yes, the alien aspect too. Okay, so the third one, y'all. Yes, most people lump that in with the supernatural woo camp, but they could absolutely be, or they could work with aliens. Okay, so that's another thing too. We just don't know what we're dealing with out there. We really don't. We think we do sometimes, but we don't. But I thought it was really cool that James Aiken actually said that he saw another element that's not just flesh and bone. Okay, now when we were down there in your area, I did get some pretty cool pictures. Now I'm not saying 100% this is Bigfoot, y'all, but some of this is not explainable. Okay, and so yes, a lot of times what is typical for Bigfoot, and I don't know if you see this down near Molena, Tina, but
in the woods behind my house,
you see X's.
I wasn't gonna. Yes, we have. I wasn't gonna say that on air though.
And it's okay. Hey, we're all one big family here. You can talk about all this weird stuff here at the Cryptid Huntress. Okay. This was actually down in the troop herd corridor, down in around Heard County. And that's not but a county or 2 over from y'all, I believe. Right. And so now could this be the weather, blowing trees over? Absolutely. Okay. But there was too much other activity for this to be, once you put it all together, there's too much. Okay. And there's also these little, we call them like, that's the X structure. Now this was like what we call an asterisk or asteris. I can't pronounce it. Asterisk, I guess. But there's a whole bunch of trees that were they look like they had fallen on top of each other in a star pattern. Okay. Well, that could 100% be the weather. Okay. 100%. But the bottom of this tree right here, hold on, right down there, we could not find the base to that tree anywhere. We could not find where that tree had snapped from. There was nowhere in that vicinity where that tree had fallen. Okay, the other part of that, the bottom stump was not there. So that just told us that potentially, this could potentially be Bigfoot. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, but it might be Bigfoot. Okay, so we find stuff like this in the woods when we're out there. Last but not least, we had this other structure that we call, this is like an arch. And this is in the area, this is not far from where you live and where you guys are from. If I can pull it up. Oops, there it goes. Wrong one. Okay, this is the arch. Okay, sometimes you'll find like a small baby type tree, and it looks like it's bent over. And could this have been natural? Yes. Okay, like so much of this could be natural. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, but it might be Bigfoot. Okay, so you see that large tree that's on the ground right there that had fallen over. This tree, the top of this tree was tucked into that tree. Tucked into it. Now, I think I might have a more up-close picture of this. Now, this is Tony. Tony is one of my teammates. Tony Green, he's about 6'4" or 6'5". He's really tall. And so you could see him standing underneath that thing. And this was a really tall tree bend. And right here, he's examining where the tree was tucked into other limbs. Okay. Now, like I said, could it be natural? Yes, but look how he's a tall guy, and this is a gigantic structure right here. And so it's just stuff there weren't a ton of these there. I mean, there's only one that we could find out in the woods where we were looking, where we were just kind of doing our observing. We had some serious Bigfoot activity the night before. We had some pretty serious Bigfoot activity potentially the next night as well. My son and I and two of the guys with us, we saw a Bigfoot in our night vision, in our FLIR. Excuse me. Ooh, I still got that cold, y'all. I got to do a little cough off air. Okay, but like I said, I'm not saying 100% that's Bigfoot, but it is very typical. And so I would assume that there's things like this down there in Pike County as well. If this is out there, a couple of counties over where we were in I think we were either in Troop or Herd. I don't know where I was actually when we took these. But we were in that vicinity. So, people can look at stuff like this, Tina, and just think, well, the wind did it. Okay. But if you know what to look for, and you know that could be potential Bigfoots in your area, it gives it a whole new perspective. And it'll cause your brain to start thinking, well, that could be a Bigfoot. Okay, so for people that are watching, I know that hopefully people down in Molena are watching this, and people that are going to be at the festival this weekend. And so, yeah, it's just stuff to look for. Definitely stuff to look for, y'all. Okay, let's move it on. Let's see if there's any other points. There's a whole lot of cool stuff. Oh, another thing he said. Okay, James Aiken had mentioned that when he was looking at the casting, when he was looking at the footprints out there, something that we experience a lot are smells. Okay, we have really, the Sasquatch have a really strong odor that they can put off. And he experienced this while he was out there, okay, and said that he said it could have been pheromones. He doesn't know what it was, but it was a very distinct smell. To him, it smelled like ozone, okay? And by ozone, he means the smell that you get whenever it's about to rain, okay? And I've smelled that plenty of times. He said also it felt like there was a crackling in the air or a static electricity. And he was, it put him in a fight or flight, okay? A fight or flight. And now that happens pretty regularly when we're out in the field now. It happens to me when I walk down in a creepy basement sometimes. All right, that fight or flight, you get a weird feeling. Something tells you to run. Okay, now you either choose to run or you're going to fight, right? And he got that feeling. I do believe that he might have pulled a pistol out. Like, this is a law enforcement officer, everybody. And sometimes if you feel like your life is in danger, you got to take precautions to protect yourself. But he never had to do anything with that handgun. But he had it, and I don't blame him one bit. But yeah, he said, okay, with the strides, okay, with the Elkins Creek Bigfoot, he said that when he went back and was looking at the stride, he said that it had to be about 8 to 9 feet tall. Go ahead, Tina.
I'm sorry, and I thought you were going to mention the stride length.
Yes.
That to compare that, that the stride length was longer than I am tall. So
really,
he's 5.5 feet.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So 5.5 feet, y'all. That's really long. Okay. I mean, I'm a little over 5.5 feet myself. Okay. So that's really, yeah, that's long. That's very tall. He also said that on the ground, he actually called himself a hefty man. Okay. excuse me, he called himself a hefty man. He's like, I'm a hefty man. I was a hefty man back then. And whenever he was standing on this ground, his footprints were going in about a centimeter into the mud. He said these prints were about an inch down into the mud, which would make it a super, super gigantic being. Okay. He also said that on the other side of the creek, where the prints were, he said that he followed the prints over to the other side of the creek, and he could see scuff marks where whatever it was had pulled a tree down to pull itself up. He said it was about 8 feet over, 3 feet up, where it got out of the creek. And so like he actually saw, like, I don't know if it was knuckle marks or drag marks or something like that, but he saw that on the other side, and it was jarring to him. Okay. Pretty much jarring. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, Tina, but I wouldn't be scared because I'm a Bigfoot researcher, right? But it would be startling to anybody seeing that. Yeah. What do you think, Tina? Would you be startled if you saw that?
I absolutely would. Although I don't know that I wouldn't be a little scared too. So
Oh yeah.
it would definitely be hair raising.
I forgot to turn my ringer off today, y'all. I'm on my cell phone. I'm getting phone calls. Sorry. The joys of live broadcasting. I tell y'all. This is awesome. Okay, so let's see. Where were we? On other banks. Okay, went back a year later. All right. Oh yeah, so this gentleman who found these castings, he didn't just like stop there when he quit, or when he first got the castings. Like, he went back a year later and was still checking on this couple, right? And making sure that everything was cool. I mean, I guess they were still having activity back then, or do you know, Tina?
I don't know for sure. I know he went back to check on him, and I was going to bring my book with me so I could cheat and see what he said, but I forgot it.
Oh, it's okay. And now is James Aiken still around? Does he still talk about this incident live?
He was actually here to sign books last year. He's not going to be here at this one, but he is still around.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I wish he'd be here this year. I must have missed him last year. Or maybe I don't think I met him last year. So, but hey, we're going to have some really
speakers.
He wasn't. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to being there this year. Okay. And you've got a fantastic lineup of speakers, including myself. Okay. I'm not saying I'm fantastic by any means, but the other people are.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So in the last little bit of the show, let's talk a little bit about the festival that you're throwing, and maybe talk about some of the speakers that are coming in, because I've got at least 2 of the other speakers are my teammates there, and pretty much my entire team's coming. So tell me a little bit about the festival.
So what I tell everybody is good food, good fun, good time, good music, and a great time to actually be able to talk about Bigfoot without thinking someone's going to look at you like you're crazy, and get together, share our stories, and then actually get to hear speakers who have either gone out in the field looking or have spent a lot of time researching. I know Angie always says there's no such thing as a Bigfoot expert, but at least people who have a little more experience and knowledge than those of us who just think we have seen, heard, smelled a Bigfoot locally. And it's fun.
Oh yeah. It's so fun. You guys had all sorts of musical guests there, and the ladies that were playing there, I forgot what that instrument's called, but it was awesome. Not violins. Well, I mean, it's not violins. It's some kind of like old timey instrument last year, and I just sat there. I was like, the violas.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and the word has just left my head. So cool. Sorry.
I gotta say, I had the best time last year. So it was awesome, and you had people that were making jewelry. You had the Sasquatch Encounter Brigade there, okay, and Angie's a part of that. And they had a bunch of casting. My friend Kristen brought her cast, who's on my team. She has a gigantic cast. It's like 20 inches long or something. from her property up in northeast Georgia, actually. So lots of castings there, lots of live stories. Okay, people actually can come there and tell about their own encounters, right, Tina?
That's on the schedule to have a period of time where people are free to do that. I will sit my book out again in case anybody wants to write up their story. I had intended to have a camera, so which we could block face if you didn't want to be seen, but that didn't pan out. So maybe next year I'll have it where people can actually just record their stories. It's a lot easier to tell than it is to write. And I am compiling a book. If anyone wants to, not a book like to be published, but if anybody wants to email me their encounter, I'd love to get it in our book.
Oh my gosh, that's a great thing to do, actually. Yeah, I highly recommend anybody, I wish more towns were into like the Bigfoot festivals and stuff. I mean, in a perfect world, every town would have a Bigfoot festival. Okay, in my opinion. We have Bigfoots up here in West Georgia where I live. Actually, if you go to McIntosh Park, okay, over in Carroll County, Georgia, which is only about an hour north of you guys, everything's Bigfoot there. I mean, even their shirts that whenever you go to an event there, they have Bigfoot printed on their shirts because of all the Bigfoot sightings there. And speaking of Bigfoots, you guys, Barb is going to be there, who's down here on the screen. She says, stop by Swamp Diva's tent at the event, Bigfoot 101 setup. Ooh, that sounds fun. She's going to be down at the festival. Yeah, what is Bigfoot 101?
It's something to be experienced. Angie can explain it better than I can, so I'm just going to say it's something to be experienced.
Okay, so this is going to be something for all levels of Bigfoot expertise. Okay, and none of us are experts, but from young kids, you guys have stuff for the kids going on there this weekend.
Yes.
Okay, and you have people that have never encountered a Bigfoot. It's okay for them; they're going to enjoy it. People who have seen Bigfoots, they're going to be able to tell their stories, and just being able to hang out with other like-minded people. That's the coolest part about this.
For anyone who doesn't and who just wants to come out and have some fun, there's definitely something for them. There's between good food, good music, and just people to hang out with, definitely some good shopping. Melissa Adair, one of the speakers, is actually going to have a booth. There you go. But Bigfoot 101, the best I can explain it, there will be sights, sounds, and things to handle, almost like a miniature museum on steroids.
Oh yeah, well, I can't wait. Let's go over some of these speakers real quick for all my audience who's watching. If you guys are interested, these are all boots on the ground. Okay, that's important. Okay, boots on the ground field researchers. In my opinion, that's the bread and butter of Bigfoot. Okay, of the Bigfoot community. We have Johnny Two Bears. I can't see. My eyes are so bad.
Two Bears.
Johnny Two Bears. Now he's with the Sasquatch Encounter Brigade too, isn't he? With Angie. We have Melissa Adair. She's the Bigfoot chick. Love Melissa. She's a former blogger too. I mean, you guys will see her. She's all over the place. I love Melissa. We've got the badass monster hunter himself, Matthew Delph, coming on there. He's with Mountain Empire Cryptid Research Organization. He's one of my teammates. He's out there. We're out there raising cane together out in the woods. We have Trey Hudson. Okay, he's the head of one of my teams with the Meadow Project, Anomalous Studies and Observation Group, Enigma Research Group, and North Georgia Cryptid Researchers. And he's written a book called The Meadow Project, Explorations into the South Skinwalker Ranch. So he's going to be there. And then we have George Wrigley, and he's with the BFRO. I believe the KBRO. It could be, that's Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization, I believe. So, and he's a boots on the ground field researcher. I can't wait to meet him. And of course, you got yours truly, the Cryptid Huntress, is going to be there. And I'm the first speaker of the day, y'all. So y'all have to get there early, 10 a.m. Eastern here in Georgia. Please come see me. I'm going to have some little things to give away to people. Just say you watch me on my shows, and I'll give you something, maybe a keychain with a dog man on it. Okay. So I'll have a bag of those there to give out to people, and it'll be a good time. So Tina, man, thank you so much for hosting this, and for allowing all of us Bigfooters to have a place to come and celebrate Bigfoot. Really.
Well, now I can't take credit for all of it. Bobby Bunn, friends of the Pike County, J. Joel Edwards Public Library, Angie, Harold Kirkland, who gets our musicians together. It's definitely a team effort.
It takes a lot to get these events going too. Trust me. Ask me how I know. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And so I just commend your town for being so open about Bigfoot and Sasquatch. And yeah, I just wish more towns would do what you guys do. 100%. And you have so many great vendors that are going to be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully maybe Trey will bring some of his books too. Hopefully you'll have some people that are selling their books. And go ahead.
No, I was just, I hope so.
Oh, you hope so. You're just praying. Just praying they bring some books and stuff. Yes, they will. And so this is a speaker lineup. If you guys want to know when we're going to be speaking, I'm first off so early. So I have the whole day to have fun after that and hang out with everybody. I'm going to try to be there all day. And yeah, I don't even know, Tina, I'm not even sure what I'm going to be talking about yet. Maybe the history of the Bigfoots in your area. Does that sound good? Okay.
Maybe your adventures recently when you were just out in the field.
Well, see, that's why I love doing this, because it's so easy. Okay, it's so easy for me because I've got so many stories, and so that's what I'll be doing. I'll talk about whatever y'all want to hear about. I'll put a little slideshow together. Okay, but after me, we got Matthew Delph coming on, and then George Wrigley, Johnny Two Bears, Trey Hudson. And then at 2:30, y'all be sure to be there at 2:30 if you're coming for the eyewitness testimonies, because that's my favorite part. Okay, and also we got Melissa Adair. She's the last speaker of the day at 3, and then we got a question and answer, a Q&A session at the end, and so that's going to be awesome. And Angie's in the chat. We got Barb and Angie in the chat from down in Molena. Angie said it would be awesome if you would talk about Elkins Creek. I would love to. Okay. Absolutely. Oh, and I have another Angie in here too. Hey, Angie, I'm going to be filming a show with Angie tomorrow with Esoteric Atlanta, y'all. We're going to be talking about the Georgia werewolf. Okay. Now, I think the Georgia werewolf actually, Tina, I think that's in Meriwether County. I think it's around Meriwether. Now,
nearby.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a connection then. Werewolves, Bigfoots, all this stuff. I wonder why it's such an area of high strangeness down there, because there's so much. I mean, in UFOs, you guys have a lot of UFOs too.
We've had sightings not too far away, right where 3 meets 85 in Sonoy.
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean in Gay, headed towards Sonoy. Sorry, but right there in Gay, they've had several sightings right there. Then there's the Cove, of course, and that's a hotbed. I've been told maybe the reason, and I don't know that it's any more than supposition, but that maybe the reason is just that we're on that same 34th parallel as Roswell.
Oh, hey, that's something interesting to look into. I love it. You've done your research. I like that. Yeah, it could be. And I don't know. I just know that I'm out there researching, and I had not gotten a Bigfoot sighting like that on the night vision in a long time. My son was actually there with me. He's only 9. And he was able to see his first Bigfoot that night down there 2 weeks ago in your area. Okay. So yeah, it was a fantastic time, and my son will be there with me on Saturday. Okay. And he can't wait. He's going to wear his new werewolf t-shirt. Okay. Not t-shirt, a sweatshirt. Tina, we have matching werewolf Christmas sweaters. Okay. So
oh, wow.
We may wear them to your event on Saturday. Okay. We may or may
Oh, how
not. We'll
cool is
find
that?
out. Yes, werewolves. Happy Howler. What is it? Happy Howler days. So yeah, so I can't wait. All right. So if people want to learn more about the event, again, go to the website. Here, I'm going to pull it up one more time. Go to the website. It's on Facebook. And let me share the screen. Bear with me. I'm like an old lady over here. I can't figure things out. Okay, it takes me a second. Here we go. Y'all go to it's the Molena Bigfoot Fest and Elkins Creek 5K and 1 mile fun run walk. Now, I'm not doing the run, okay, but we didn't mention that. Tina, do you want to mention the run too?
So we have a 5K. That course is the same course that the American Legion has used here in the past for anybody who may be familiar with that. But we have a 5K. You can sign up as late as the day of. They will start promptly at 9. We also have, for those who maybe want to participate but don't think they can handle the 5K, we do have a 1 mile fun run walk. So you can run or walk, and we will have Bigfoot at the bridge, which is at the end of that 1 mile, for picture opportunities.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm going to get a picture opportunity. I'm going to be there getting pictures with all those Bigfoots y'all got running around. And I can't wait to see you, Tina. And I just want to thank you again for being here today. This has been a fantastic show, y'all. I want to say thank you to everybody in the audience today, to all of my my moderators that were in the chat. And I'm sorry I didn't get to all the comments. I didn't get to pull everything up, but I was busy over here today talking about this Elkins Creek Bigfoot. Okay. So Tina, I will see you this Saturday. Are there any final thoughts? Anything you want to tell the crew before we go today?
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be on today, and looking forward to seeing everybody Saturday. Look for me. Tell me hello. Tell me you listen to the Cryptid Huntress podcast.
Yes, and you guys, y'all come over to me. Y'all come find me. I'll give you a keychain, okay, or something. Whatever I got, stickers. I don't know. We'll see what I can muster up for this weekend. All right, Tina. Well, I will see you this Saturday, okay? And you guys, please follow. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, y'all, please come back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. I will be here with Barry Littleton. We've got a show. He's fresh off the airplane. He just got back from Las Vegas at the Stairway to the Stars conference. And he's going to be here with me tomorrow night. We're going to do a really cool remote viewing target. It's a surprise. I don't even know what it is yet. And so we'll be back here at 8. And also, I was going to say this weekend I'll be at Spaced Out Radio, but I may not be. Okay, definitely not Sunday night. I might be back in time Saturday night to do a show, but nonetheless, y'all usually follow me here over on Spaced Out Radio every Saturday and Sunday at 10. All right. Okay, Miss Tina, I'll see you Saturday. Tell everybody, Molena, thank you for letting you come on here today with me. Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Bye, y'all. Bye, Tina.